As a lifelong Canes and Raiders fan, what have I done to deserve such misery? Hey, man, every fan base goes through this. Every fan base goes through these periods in their life where it just seems like it isn't going to get better. I mean, you look at Bama, they were an elite team in the 60s and 70s, won a national championship in 92. They had about 15 years of just mediocrity and not playing well. And then now look at where they're at. Georgia, the same. Clemson, they won a national championship in 1980. They were just a pretty good college football to mediocre college football program. And then now they have 2 national championships. They're in the playoff all the time. They've won 6 of the last 7 ACC championships. I mean, every fan base goes through this. Every fan base has their rough patches and their high times. It's not rocket science. You need dudes. Go read Nick Saban's book. When you have the best players, you can pretty much call anything you want. We need DUDES dudes. Yeah. This team is awful. One of the worst in all of D1 ball. They're getting worse every week despite having quite a few good skill players. The game was over at half. More excuses coming from Mario. I mean, I think we maybe have like 1 or 2 good receivers right now that are playing really good. We have a lot of guys with potential. Cornerback, it's really just Tyreek Stevenson, Cam Kitchens at safety. James Williams continues to disappoint. It's very clear that he was a 5-star based off of just physical ability. He's always out of position, unable to tackle. So, yeah. All good programs go through cycles, even Bama. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you look at, just to turn to another sport, Boston Celtics. Dynasty in the 60s and 70s, dynasty in the 80s. And then 90s, they don't do anything. For a good part of the 2000s, they don't do anything. 2008, they win a championship. You know, things like this happen where teams that were once dominant, teams that were once very good, they go through those rough patches because nothing ever lasts. As good as something is, as perfect as something seems, it never lasts. It's never going to be replicated the way it was before. And people are going to adapt to what you're doing and find ways to counter that. You can look at sports. You can look at history with any great civilization through the age. Stuff like just happens. All this stuff goes through cycles where it's the rise. There's a prosperous era, and then there's the downfall. From 8-4 to 7-5 in a bowl last year to 5 wins with better players in a weaker conference and getting blown out every week. How do coaches make you this bad so fast? Depressing. Again, it's not just on coaching. It's on players' lack of buy-in, players' lack of execution, because, you know, a lot of people are saying, man, why do we keep running the ball on 3rd and short? Well, that's what you're supposed to do in 3rd and short. You're supposed to be able to run the ball. And, you know, Josh Gaddis can't go out there and block with the offensive lineman. But again, like I said earlier, there's times where Josh Gaddis' offense is way too slow and way too methodical. I mean, we burned 2 timeouts in the second half just because we let the play clock run down, and we also got a delay of game penalty. So Miami should just try to run the triple option or the old Notre Dame wishbone offense. Maybe some fumble-rooskies. I think it's our only shot. I mean, yeah, it might be so simple and so stupid that they don't see it coming. Workforce, no program in the country has ever been in a down cycle as long as Miami have. I mean, it's been 17 years. Georgia was down for a little bit, I think. And then you have Bama after they won their national championship in the 90s up until 2008. It's not rare to see a once prominent program for about maybe 10, 15 years or so just kind of drop into mediocrity. Because we really haven't, like, I know by Miami standards, we're a terrible program now compared to what we were in the past, but we're just mediocre. I mean, this year we're bad, but overall as a program, we've just been mediocre, hovering around 7 wins, maybe 9 wins run 1 year. But yeah, we've spiraled into mediocrity, and that's not where you want to be. But like we say every offseason, it can only get better from here.